Hello and welcome back to Falling Sky, the Gallic Revolt against Caesar. I'm Crosstown Gamer, and today we're gonna continue our playthrough with the winter phase. We finally made it to the first winter. Been a long time coming, and I'm gonna tell you all about how this works and how to do this with the bots to the best of my ability. And here we go. This is definitely the most complicated portion of the game. I know I said battling was, but I think it's winter. In all of these coin games, the propaganda phase or the winter phase or whatever the campaign phase, whatever the name for it is, these end up being a little bit tricky. So we have to go through this kind of one by one. As you can see, there's this sequence of play sheet, and the winter card takes up 3/4 of the page. So we're going to go through what it means to do winter, and we're going to keep track of it on this handy little track here. So we've already used the frost marker. First thing we check is victory. If any faction has met their victory conditions, or if it's the final winter, the game ends right away. That's not the case. We're at 15, and we have to hold on anyway. The Aedui are the closest, I would say. They're at their victory condition, but they haven't actually met it yet. They need to exceed the number of othermost allies. The Belgae are doing, I don't want to say terribly, but poorly. And then the Arverni, they need to have more off-map legions for them to be in contention for the win as well. So we're going to continue along. First, the Germans activate, and they do this kind of sequence of events here. They're going to rally, then march, then raid, then battle, specified on the reverse of this card. So the back has all these nice, I know there's a bit of glare, so I'm trying to tilt it. Has how faction sheet basically for the Germans, and it tells you how to do all these things and then the order in which to do them for the winter card. And the Ariovistus expansion has a similar one of these. It's over there, and on the reverse side of the winter sheet, it has the Arverni because the Germans are a playable faction in the expansion. So first, they're going to rally. They're going to place as many, and their rally works similarly to other rallies, but they get kind of a double thing where they can place allies and then also place warbands in the same go. So they just have basically a more powerful rally. So in their rally, they're going to place as many allies as possible first in Suebi and then in other Germania areas and then elsewhere. In order for them to place, though, they need control. So the only places they have control are Germania, and there are already allies in all of the spots there. So they're not going to place any additional allies at this point. But then they're going to place as many warbands as possible, including where there were allies just placed. And they get to place in Germania even if there are no Germanic allies there. But that's not the case. They've got allies, up the wazoo there. So they're going to place, it's just as many, it's the number of warbands is equal to the number of Germanic allies there. So since each Germanic area has 2, they're each going to get 2 allies in that region. And lucky for them, they have exactly 4 left. So 2 are going to go here, and 2 are going to go down here. All right. So they have, I think, 8 now down there. That's going to be important in a second. Then they can, choose among equal possible locations randomly. That would have only happened if we didn't have enough warbands to fulfill both the requirements there. So that's okay. And then we adjust control. We don't need to do that. Okay, they're going to march into adjacent regions. From regions with 1 plus more Germans than control, so they have enough to march from both locations in Germania. They're going to do it with as many warbands as possible without losing Germanic control. So that's all of them because they're alone there, and they have allied pieces, so they're not going to lose control by marching out of either of those regions. They're going to go into one region per origin. First to add control, then within that to player control, then to random. So what that means is, like, for example, here, they have a choice of marching either down here into this Belgic-controlled region, the Treveried region, or in the Nervii region, they could march over here, like this. In order to add control for them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 pieces. They have 5. So they can't even take away control if they put in 7 things here. It wouldn't quite be enough. And similarly, if they marched down here, they definitely have too few of warbands to be able to take over control. So it goes on to the next control bullet, which is player control first. So since this is we're a player, not a non-player, they're going to want to go to Roman controlled places before they go into other controlled places. So that ticks the boxes for that. So they're going to end up marching in here, which is going to kind of suck, I think. Anyway, then down here, they also have a choice. They can either go into the Treveri region or down here into the Sequani region. Neither has player control, but the first one is to add, the first bullet is to add Germanic control. So here they have 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces there, and here we have 5. And they have 8, so they could take away Belgic control, but they want to go to a place that adds their own control. So they're going to go with as many warbands as possible, it said, down into this region here. So another woeful region for them to march into. Okay, getting a little disorganized here, and that's okay. I think things are gonna even out really quickly. So that gives them Germanic control. It does take away Belgic control, so that's going to be a -2 to their victory conditions, which, like, really sucks for them. They're doing the worst, I would say, out of all of the NPCs. So we get a German control marker, and we will add it down here. Okay. That was the march. So, if you hear something, it's my cat scratching on a cat post. Then they're going to raid. And how does a raid work? Oh yeah, and they get to flip all their warbands to hidden. That's not a anything we have to worry about for the march. For the raid, any regions with hidden Germans and Romans, or Gauls with, Romans with no fort or Gauls with no citadel. That is everywhere that they are. They're in 2 or 3. Wait, I thought they were in a 3rd region. They're only in 2 regions with other players, neither of which has a fort or a citadel. They're going to flip 1 to 2 hidden warbands per region and reduce the Roman or Gauls resources by 1 per the warband flipped. And here they're going to do this with as many as possible, but only against factions with resources. And they're going to do it against players before non-players. But the Belgic player and the Edui player, or non-player rather, are the only factions that have resources right now. So even though they would like to steal from Roman resources up here, they can't because we don't have any. So they're not going to do it there, but they can do it down here against the Belgic player. So they're going to flip two warbands over, and they're going to reduce then the Belgic player's resources by 2. So they are also sitting here at 0. We really spent everything we had to get to this point. Okay, then they're going to battle plus ambush in regions with Germans and another faction that has fewer hidden pieces. So remember, legions can never be hidden, but warbands and auxilia obviously can. So up here, they do have 7 to our 4 pieces that are hidden. So since the legions don't count as hidden. So that is a place where they're likely to battle. And here there's only one hidden warband for the Romans, 0 for the... Oh my gosh, my cat is... Yep. Go away. Okay. I should have just locked her out. So, I might end up taking her out of the room because she's just being a pill. One sec. Okay, criminy. So yeah, there's more pieces here than hidden pieces for the Germans than hidden for other folks. They're going to go against players before non-players. Otherwise, they're going to choose randomly. And choosing the battle of the order of the battles is going to also be random. So between the two locations, that's going to be a random choice. We don't have a black die for the Germans, but that's okay. We'll just use this one. So 1, 2, or 3 is going to be that top region there, and 4, 5, and 6 is going to be the other one. 3. So they're going to battle up here first. The procedure is largely the same as everywhere else. So they're going to select faction to be the defender, and then they're going to cause 1 half loss each for their warbands. We're going to have it with a citadel, just the basic similar thing. And then, oh yeah, and because they're ambushing, there's no counterattack, and all surviving hidden participants are going to be revealed. This is on the German side and on the opposing side. So, unfortunately, we don't get to counterattack, which is a bummer. But they are going to do, they have 7, so that's going to be 3 points of loss. And so we just have to take 3 warbands and put them back to available. And then we're going to flip all of these to revealed. Since we don't get to retreat or counterattack, super bummer. And then you'll notice that they now have more pieces than necessary for control. So we have to remove this, and they've got 7 to our 5. Okay. Then down here, they're going to pick us before picking the Belgic player, the bot, which is also unfortunate because I think they're going to be able to cause a loss on our legion. So 1, 2, 3, 4 points of loss. So unless we get really lucky, so this will at least go away. And then I always get confused. Is it a 1, 2, or 3 that they're saved? No, remove if 1, 2, or 3. So if we roll a 4, 5, or 6 3 times, because they have 3 loss points still, let's use our red die here. So we need a 4, 5, or a 6 a bunch of times. 1. Nope. Okay. To be expected. So this goes down here to Fallen Legions. Then this Arverni goes up to 6 Fallen Legions, or off-map legions. And then all the Germanic forces go to revealed. Okay. Next, so that was their battle plus ambush, and we can see that's the end of the line there. That's the last thing they're going to do. So we'll go back to our other side, and so we're already 15 minutes in. We're on the second bullet point. Okay. The quarters are a little bit confusing. I had to look up how it works for the non-player factions. But any Germanic warbands in devastated regions without an ally, that's not true because they're the only devastated region here is this one. Have to move basically back to a random Germanic region. So then Belgae, Idui, and Arverni may move warbands and leaders to adjacent undevastated regions as long as they control it or the other faction agrees. And then they roll a die for each warband that they have in a devastated region without an ally or citadel, and remove if it's a 1, 2, or 3. So the Idui player, for example, is in a devastated region, but they have an ally there, so they're safe. They're not going to have to worry about that last part. But basically, they can move warbands and leaders into an adjacent spot. The bot rules for the Belgae go first. I'll show you what that looks like. So mostly this is exactly the same for the other factions as well, but this is under the Belgic area. So during the quarter phase, they first leave devastated regions where they have no ally or citadel. And then they move their leader and or one group of warbands so as to join their leader with the largest group of Belgic warbands able. And within that, to get or keep their leader within one region of the most regions possible so that they can do their special abilities more effectively. They're already with the largest legion of... they're already with the largest contingent of their own warbands, so I don't think they're actually going to move. Like, they could move their leader and some warbands down here, and it could become a bigger area, but it says to join the most. So I don't think that's exactly what it means. So I think he's going to actually stay put, and this way he's also within one region of the most possible. So I don't think they're actually going to do anything. Then the Idui get to go, and their quarters say something slightly different. They're only going to leave devastated regions where they have no ally or citadel, because they don't have a leader on the map. And again, in the expansion, they do get a leader. They get Divicious. I think that's how to pronounce it. But they don't. So they're just going to move from devastated regions that don't have an ally, but they have an ally there, so they're safe. Then the Arverni are going to go. They're actually stuck up there. They can't move to join their leader, and they're not in a devastated region. So it looks like they're going to remain in place. So then the Romans, this is the most confusing part of all of this, I think. I had to reread the rules over and over. It was nice actually playing with the designer because he kind of did this for us. So the Romans may move into adjacent undevastated regions with Roman control or agreeing factions control. So we can move forces up here into here. That doesn't really do us anything that we want, because we want to protect those allies that are up there, even though the German forces are kind of overwhelming at this point. And the only other places we have control are in Provincia anymore. So none of the other factions are going to agree to harbor our retreat or supply lines because we're too high up on the track. So we don't get supply lines, which means they can move legions and auxilia in supply lines. We are stuck. Our supply lines end here because their control for these other areas are, unfortunately, other factions. Then the leader from any region to Provincia. I guarantee you right now that we want to do that. We want to move this leader to Provincia, teleport him there. Because, finally, for each legion and auxilia outside Provincia, we must either basically pay to keep a bunch of these in place, and we have 0 resources, so we can't do this top part at all. And the part that's confusing to me is, except for one piece with each Roman ally or fort. So I don't know if we have to do this, since this is in the first bullet point, I don't know if we're allowed to keep pieces there if we're not fully paying. That part isn't really, I'm sure this is covered on Board Game Geek, but I'm going to say that since we don't have any resources, we can't pay to keep legions and auxilia there, then we're just going to ignore this as though it's not even an option. And we're going to roll a die and remove a piece on a 1 through 3. Legions go to Fallen. So we have a ton of people up here. And on a 1 through 3, we're going to end up removing all of them. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have got 10 dice we have to roll. I'm going to do the legions first, because those are the scary ones. And I'm going to do them here first. So on a 1 through 3, these get removed, which is going to be really bad. Okay, that one gets removed. There's a second one up there. That one also gets removed. Jesus, okay. So these are going to go to Fallen. That's going to do that. Then let's do the legions here. 1, 2, 3. Got to get lucky eventually. 1 stays. 2 stays. 3 stays. Okay, that was good. Now the warband here. Oh, what is it? It stays. It's a 4. Then the 4 warbands here. 1, 2, 3. Getting lucky now. 4. All 4 stay. Okay, so everything else gets to stay. That's lucky, I guess. We've got it's a little bit of unlucky here, but that's okay. All right, that was the quarters phase. We did all of these. The other ones can remain in Provincia. That's totally fine. Then we're going to harvest. This is where we get our resources. Romans get to add the resources equal to their current victory score. That's subdued, dispersed, and allies. We're at 15, so we're going to get 15 resources. All the Gallic tribes get to add twice the number of allied tribes and citadels. So the Belgian player has 1, so they're going to get 2 resources. Oof. They are so struggling and just not even in contention. I wonder how frequent that happens, where one of the bots just gets totally steamrolled. 5, which means they're going to get twice that, is 10 resources. Then the Adui player also has 5. So they're also going to get 10. Oh, and they were at 2, so they go up to 12. And then they actually get these river tolls, so they get a further 4 resources always. So they're going to go actually up to 16. Then, so that was harvest. Oh, we haven't been keeping track. Okay, now we're in the Senate phase. So the Senate shift. If current victory score is below 10, well, it's at 15, so it's not there. We're going to shift it, the Senate marker, up toward uproar. So we don't have to do that. If it's 10 through 12, we're going to shift. If it exceeds to intrigue, if it exceeds 12, shift 1 row down toward adulation, which I would do, except do not shift down if there are any fallen legions. Oh, sad. A shift off, so it means if we were already in adulation, a shift off further down would actually flip it so it would be firm. And this is similar to Scouted, where in order for it to go back, it has to first flip and then it can go back. So it takes 2 steps. but it'll stay there. Then 1/2 of the fallen legions remain in the box. The rest go to the legion's track. Then place any legions from the legion's track at or above the Senate marker into Provincia. Okay, so 1/2 stay in the box. The other half goes up here. Then it says anything at or above the Roman Senate marker gets sent to Provincia. So 2 of these get sent to Provincia, which is good. We get more legions, but bad because we're never going to get to adulation at this rate because we're always going to have these fallen legions. So there's 6 off-map legions now. We do have to protect those because if there's any more, then the Arverni are in contention for winning. Then Auxilia. The Roman leaders in Provincia. Yes, we did that. Place 3 available Auxilia into Provincia if the Senate is in uproar, 4 if it's an intrigue, and 5 in adulation. So it's an intrigue right now, so we get 4. 4 of these go in there. Great. Then looks like the timing of this video is going to actually end up kind of perfect. So the factions place any successor leaders from available onto the map. So if Caesar would have died, for example, his successor would now go on the map. None of the leaders have died. And they can place it in their home region. Remove all remaining fallen legions onto the legion's track. So these now go up here. I guess we do get a chance to move it to adulation, but we just have to be really careful. And then remove all devastated and dispersed gathering markers and flip the dispersed tribe markers to dispersed gathering. There was this one that gets placed at the beginning of the game, so that gets removed, and the devastated marker also gets removed. And remove all scouted markers, and then flip all warbands and all auxilia to hidden, all factions to eligible, play the next card. So I'm not going to waste your time and start, flipping every single warband. I'm going to do that off camera. But then we will end up playing the next card, which is going to be sacking. And then it looks like, I think I said this last time, the Arverni really want to play that event. And the card after that is going to be Correas. So all in all, let's just take a quick assessment of the board state. The Arverni are actually really close to winning, because if you remember, let me get my sheet. So the Aedui is really close to winning too, but the Arverni, the off-map legions need to exceed 6, and then the allied tribes and citadels exceeds 8. So they only need 3 more, or exceed 8, I guess, so they need 9. So 4 more. But they have this area over here that's really untapped potential. They could easily rally in 4 allied tribes just like that, and then just pick off 1 legion, and they would be past their victory threshold. So we just have to be aware of that. Similarly, the Aedui tribes are close because they just need 1 more ally. They're going to have a bit of a tougher go of it, though, because the only allied tribe that's even close to them is in this region that's just overrun by German forces. I guess they could try to go up here, but we've got a pretty good stranglehold on that region. So they're going to have a tougher time getting that last tribe, I think. But it's definitely not outside of the realm of possibility. The Belgic tribe needs 16 points, and they're down here at 2. And even worse for them, they only have 2 resources. So they're going to be taking the event most of the time, because they're just not going to be able to do anything past the first 2 cards. Everywhere else has a decent amount of cash. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to flip everything over and make sure that everything is tracked appropriately, and then the Arverni are going to kick off the next video um, with the sacking card. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a great time, and we'll see you next time.